Hello and happy Friday. So I'm really excited about it being Friday, and hopefully some of you guys have some fun plans. I know it's not always easy to find fun things to do that are safe and within your protocol. Some of you have just lots of hurdles to jump and hoops to go through because of work and such. So I appreciate you that have that you what you do, and some of you are saying that you're crafting more because it's safe and easy to do and a way to spread sunshine when you can't be out and enjoying your normal things that you would like to do too. So today I'm excited just because the sun is shining, and that has been unusual this week, and I'm excited. And so I feel like it's going to give my crafting session here a good view for you guys, because my dining room lets in lots of sunshine when there is sunshine. Hi Donna, hi Lois, hi Julie, thanks for popping in. So I'm super excited about today's card. It was one of those cards that was meant to maybe look a little bit simpler, softer, and it just kept taking more and more time to put it together, and it wasn't coming together like I thought it should, and so it just took way too much time. But through that I thought, you know what, if I remember, sometimes I bring out the little tweaks that I set aside and that didn't make it to the card, and then I forget to show you guys. And so, not that there was ever anything too much wrong with what I had, and so maybe you might see those other variations and like that better. And so if I can show you what the card could have looked like, then maybe that will give you some inspiration to do things. And I don't know if you're like me, sometimes you just see that one pop of something on a card and it just expands into a whole new idea for making a card too. So hopefully I'll remember. I have it sitting here on my table, but sometimes I get so focused, and if you guys have questions too, I like to see those. So yeah, I kind of have tunnel vision when I start my video and such too. All right, so we're on card number 8 for October's virtual stamp camp, and I love the Poinsettia Place Designer Series paper. And just last evening I did a card, kind of neutral tones, rustic look, fall, even though it's Christmas paper, and today has kind of a winter look, which I thought fit our week perfect if you're from this area. And so here is card number 8. Could be a Christmas card, but I didn't intend for it to be a Christmas card. Could just be a great seasonal, like winter card too. So that is card number 8, and of course I'm pulling it off of these sheets. So there are deals to be had. Of course, I want to get them, and I want you guys to get them too. So Poinsettia Place is on, if you've printed these off, is on the first of the 2 sheets of the 15 different packages that are on sale. And I can't actually wait to do some true Christmas cards with this, because it's such a beautiful set of papers. So let me get my camera moved around. Hey Barb, thanks for joining in. Okay, so here we have, I want to get my tripod legs so they're kind of out of my way when I'm crafting, and get my iPad set up and get my card here. Okay, so a lot better for you to see it here. And I want to point these little gems out too, because I kind of snuck those in. I always think that sometimes it's things like that that really add to a card, even though they're barely visible. So yes. All right. So to start with, the Free as a Bird is one of my favorites, and I know it's been a favorite of many of yours. Just something about the true nature look of the birds. I've done lots of cute whimsical things with different animals and such, and so to have these that look like they truly should in nature is just so pretty. And I thought about using colored pencils to just kind of add a little bit of color, but what I wanted was something that was just really subtle. So I love all the sentiments in the stamp set too. And if you like to follow along, Free as a Bird is in the annual catalog, and it's on page 85. And there she is. And when Free as a Bird first came out, it was paired with, as a bundle, with the stitch nested dies, which I used earlier this week I thought it was super cute, the nested dies that were kind of doubled up for that winter winter scene, and I wanted to do something similar like that. And when I made that card, I said, I think I'm going to bring you something using that for like fall or different paper. And I was trying to kind of double nest some of these dies together, and I just couldn't get it to work. But I got these right away because I wanted that stamp set. Stampin' Up, when they first came out, bundled these two together for a 10% savings. Right now they're separate, but the stitch nested labels dies, try and get that out a few times, is still one of my favorites, and I just love kind of the shape of it besides the stitching and such on there too. And if you do double, like to make a frame, then you'll see that you'll get double stitching on that too. So that's why it's kind of called nested. I know some people have asked about that. And then of course the pretty papers. So all these pretty papers, just last night I used a card from like this strip with the pine cones and such, and then you can see all the pretty poinsettias that I will be bringing to you soon. And today is kind of these like winter berries here, so I'm excited about that. Just the red just makes that pop of color in nature just really vibrant too. Hi Pam, hi Shelly. So, and of course the best part is it's on sale. Now last night my stamping friend Lisa had a great question. She's like, now if I want this, ooh, I just about tipped over my camera. Sorry guys, I hope I didn't like make you dizzy there. Hi Maureen. So last night my stamping friend Lisa said, now what if I want this whole bundle? And actually she was referring, it wasn't last night that I made this designer series paper, is yesterday, just before noon. Okay, now I'm thinking about it. Last night though, her question was, if I want to have the whole Poinsettia Place Suite collection and put in that code, will it come up that, or will it give me the discount on the paper? So I just kind of want to reiterate, because a different demonstrator chimed in and I double checked. If you put in that code, it gives you all of these products, and it saves you time entering in all the codes, and then you know you have everything, which is great, but it will not give you the sale price on the paper. So to get the sale price discounted 15% off on the paper, then you will want to enter in everything separate. So I thought, well, that was a good question, and I'd like to, since I'm using another suite of products, give you that information too. Just need to take a quick sip. You can tell the furnace is running because it's snowing in October. Okay, and then the other couple of dies that I'm going to put in the card too, when I make it, is from the Forever Flourishing set of dies, which I've used often with the beautiful Forever Greenery Designer Series paper and the Forever Fern bundles. So those are my products. Okay, I'm just going to give a quick flash again of the card before I get started, because a bunch of you have jumped in since. So just kind of a lot of cutting, layering, and not a lot of stamping. So let's start. My card base here is real red, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I've just folded it that way. And then what I'm going to do, I think, is just start with my die cutting right away and get that out of the way, because there's not a lot of stamping to this card. Like I said, it took me forever to make it, but it's just because I wasn't happy with the results I was getting and the different colors that I'd pulled out to use. So things got brought out, set aside. My desk area back in my craft room was a complete mess, and then I couldn't find things, so it's like, oh yeah. And if that's the worst my day gets, I think I'm still gonna have a great day. Okay, so I'm just gonna take out this. Thanks, Maureen. Yeah, I was really pleased with the very end product once it finally got there. So, okay, so the stitch nested labels, I love like the shape of these, and they all are that same shape. And then I love how it paper pierces that too. So I've got that. And then I'm gonna set that aside and set up just a couple of accent pieces to put around my focal point. And I don't know if you're like me, but I kind of like to cheat on some of my layering. So I'm not even going to fit all of the die on this little slice of paper. I had a whole bunch of strips like this of soft suede, and I'm sure it was just a big project that I had done that turned out that those were my extra pieces. And I'm sure that happens to everybody. So I'm like, only so much of the the die is going to show anyway, so why not just use what's going to show, and the rest gets tucked in there, and then I can use up some of my strips because my paper slots get full if I don't kind of weed out some of those. So, and I'm going to need 2 of these. I thought about cutting the second one that I would need right away just to save you guys time. And I should have, because now I can't find my die. There it is. You guys are probably going, it's right there. You probably saw me take it out of my hand and set it down. Okay, I'm just gonna move that there and slide that one through too. So there. And so these colors, like I said, are soft suede and real red cardstock. So I've got that. And this is the one, at one of the virtual parties I did, I stamped in Bumblebee on white, but this is just the die, and I wasn't sure how that would work by stamping it more, or excuse me, die cutting it more as an accent piece versus doing the stamping first and then die cutting it. So, and then the fun fact about this particular die out of the Flourishing dies is that it does cut it out and gives it a little bit of an emboss, just kind of a subtle emboss look on some of those leaves too. So I'm just gonna poke out those little pieces. Sometimes these pieces don't show either when I put it on the card. Sometimes the focal point gets put over top, but we're gonna be making sure that it doesn't show. Okay, so the die cutting is all done. And so now it goes to just the little bit of stamping and the assembling, and then it becomes pretty much a quick and easy card too. Hello, Kathy, thanks for joining in. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure my camera angle is good. What I did here too is I took the 2 stamps that I wanted to use, which was the Single Bird and Your Friendship Means the World to Me, and I put both of those 2 on, usually I'll set one on a piece of paper and put one stamp on my block, and then kind of just smash the second stamp onto my block, and then I give it a ink up and then put it on my scratch paper to make sure that kind of everything looks straight. But what I like about it is sometimes this reduces rocking and catching edges when I have more stamps on a block, and I only have to stamp once to get 2 images, and when they're already lined up, I know that my words aren't going to be crooked in conjunction with my bird or vice versa. So whenever I can or have more stamping to do and I can put 2 on the same block, I tend to do that. So I'm just going to line that up on my little nested label die here. And on purpose, the tail goes off. I like how that looks like so. Your friendship means the world to me. And I'm gonna set that aside and then do some assembling here with the card. So this is the other part that I struggle with. This is such pretty paper, and I'm like, would it look prettier to have the soft suede matted behind the red berries or the red? And I know, there again, sometimes don't we all just stress about the details? So to kind of counteract some of my matting dilemma, I just said, okay, I'm going to do a 4 by 5 inch piece and just center that right in the middle here, which is kind of a different measurement for me because it's usually 4 by 5 1/4. So to have it kind of a different edging there, and then what is different is I'm using this 5 1/2, so it goes all the way to the card edge by 3 inches. And I kind of chose 3 just because with the 12 by 12 paper, I knew I could get an even cut and get 4 across each side and use up almost all the paper without scraps too. So with this kind of different layout, I like that you're still seeing a lot of the red, which is really making the whole project pop, and then giving it a nice grounding with that soft suede too. So yeah, so thanks, Julie. Yeah, it's just little tips like that sometimes help with putting your stamps on your blocks and stuff. Not saying that that'll work out perfect every time, but if I can do something and help you guys out, that's what I'm here for too. Hello, Leah. It's good to see you on here. Okay, so next I'm just going to take and pretend that this is in the center of my card like so. And then I'll put some glue dots, kind of a couple glue dots on each piece of my element here. And because it's going to be tucked, I don't think that one's stuck, underneath, and I'm going to put dimensionals on there. It's going to get kind of a second layer of adhesive. So just a couple glue dots, if they stick, there we go. That should be enough per piece too. And I find that it's easier to get all my glue dots on here, so then I can just kind of attach my pieces and not have to have anything moving back and forth like so. Okay, so when I see my bird here, I'm like, okay, I kind of want this much to go up, so I kind of leave it there, and then I want my red to go on top like so. Okay, so that's there, and then I kind of give it a good press down, and then same with down here. That's going to kind of stick out like so, and then I'm just going to put that red on there like so too. And when I think, yep, I'm happy with that, then I just kind of press it all down. And if some of the pieces are loose like that, I kind of like that because it kind of just gives the card a little bit of movement and free flowing look too. Hi Connie, thanks for popping in. Okay, and I haven't gotten so far that I forgot to show you what the card could have been. So this is what I ended up with. But this was my first piece. I wanted the longer of the birds in there, and I thought, oh, that bumblebee could be like a really pretty yellow just for some color. And then I'm like, oh, it just wasn't doing it. Not that it was bad, but it just wasn't like, I couldn't get these pieces, I think, to flow the way I wanted the look to be. So then I got out some of the new in color cinnamon cider. And I thought, ooh, the cinnamon cider is kind of like a neutral with some red tones in there. So I was kind of happy about that. And then I'm like, well, you know, is it the length of the birds? I want the single bird. I don't know. Maybe I need to switch to crumb cake. So then I did that same group of birds. But I thought, man, this would be kind of fun if you had this many in your family and wanted to send out a card like, hey, from all of us or something. That might look kind of nice too. So this is the crumb cake color. But so I stuck with crumb cake color because I did like that, but then I just changed up the bird and the sentiment right on there because I was trying to also kind of stamp out a little hello and try and like do another layer with that, and I didn't know if it should be down here, up here, or right on my focal point too. So this is where this ended up with, and then I could do away with my hello too because that became my sentiment. So that's just my dilemma. Like I said, if that's as bad as my day gets, it's not a bad day at all. And so I also like to show you kind of what goes on behind the scenes a little bit while I'm creating my cards, just because I could end up die cutting a lot of things, and some of my die cut packages have extra pieces in there because I think, well, if I've already die cut it, I don't want to just toss it because that might be really useful. Or the next time I might go, oh, I wonder if that's the color I should use or want to use. And if I have it die cut and already there, well, then I can kind of just pop that out for a quick view of if that should be used or not. Okay, so I'm just going to center that there. And then I want to, for my embellishment, you guys know me. Thanks, Maureen. Yeah, there's a lot that goes on in my brain. I don't know how good that is some days or not. And then for the embellishment, I knew I really wanted to use these really, I always want to call it real red, just plain red rhinestone basic jewels. I have tons of these because I love them, and I think red is a color that I use often on so many projects. And then with Christmas, we use a lot of red, and Valentine's, so I think it's just kind of, whoops, I don't want that there, kind of fun to have a lot of these on hand. And like me, I usually use like 3 at a time if I'm going to use any. So I'm just kind of scattering 3 around there. And then I thought, honestly, that this was going to be it for the front of my card, and I was really happy with that. But then I remembered, I was like, oh, I have some of that braided linen trim. In yesterday's card, I used the kind of the khaki color braided linen trim, or kind of the neutral color, but Stampin' Up! Has this really pretty real red. I'm gonna see if the camera picks that up. Oh, thanks, Pam. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, so this is that braided linen trim and in the real red color. And so I've tried to get this out too with other projects, and it just didn't fit. And so with today, I thought this is the perfect project for it, for the fact that it is kind of that rustic look. Okay, this is kind of funny. I haven't had this happen in a demo, but every once in a while, Stampin' Up! Will need to splice its ribbon as it goes around the spool, and so it'll cut it and tape it right in the middle of a roll. And so the good news about this is this is all that I needed for my card, was just the amount before I got to the tape. So if you're wondering why that's on there, I'm just as surprised. We don't come across a lot of those. I feel like some demonstrators, you know, like anything, how come I always am the one to get that? But I don't get those very often. I hope as my customers you don't either, but I was pretty fortunate to that, that it cut off right where I was going to anyway. Okay, and then I'm a big fan of taking with my fingers and just fraying out the edges on this braided linen trim, just to kind of give it that more worn and rustic look. Not a lot, but just enough to do that. Hello, Angie. So that nice little frayed edge just adds a little bit more texture and dimension there. And yeah, and it just kind of hides even the rhinestones a little bit more too. So I love that we can do kind of the sparkly gems with this card, as well as the rustic touches too. And then I need to, of course, finish off the card in the inside. And in that same stamp set, there's just a fun leaf that kind of looks like the different leaves that are used on some of the other images. And so I thought, well, it's not exactly the holly berries, but yet it'll kind of still go right along with the theme of the bird and nature and such too. And it's part of the stamp set, so it's right there. And don't we all love things that are convenient and right there? So that is going to be it for the inside there. Thanks, Pam. Yeah, I was really excited. Like, I had in mind what I wanted to do, and then I kind of just, it wasn't coming together, and changed my whole layout. But I'm more pleased with this than I think what I had planned. So that's always more fun too. And sometimes my cards come together quick and easy, sometimes not so much. So let me get my camera switched around. So that is card number 8 out of 10 for Stamp Camp and such. And so that's for October Stamp Camp. I always have to look out the window and go, yeah, it is still October, even though there's snow on the ground. So, so on Monday and Tuesday, I will bring you cards 9 and 10. And I've been busy working away on getting the cards made for you guys to send out for those that have been ordering and requesting the cards. So how you can get the cards is with a minimum $75 order. Then I mail you the cards as a thank you for the order if you use this host code. Some of you might order more, and then like if you order over $150, then you can choose, do you want my cards or do you want the host rewards that Stampin' Up! Also provides too. So there's choices that way that you might have to think through. And otherwise, if you just want the cards, you can let me know and request them, and they're $22 for the set of 10 as well. So hopefully that gave you some inspiration today, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Hello, Shannon. Shannon's on my team and I miss her because we usually have some fun gatherings or even Facebook Lives and such, but I miss seeing Shannon in person. Okay, and so I don't have any virtual hostesses lined up. Sometimes I just like to let you know that, because some of you are like, oh, should I, shouldn't I, if she's got a lot, you know, lined up, maybe now's not a great time and I should wait and such, but just know that I have a couple that are getting ready to close up and nobody on the schedule to do virtual presentations for, but know that November I will be back here to give you guys my November virtual stamp camp the same way that I've been doing this. So there will still be those, but I also like to let you know that right now on my calendar, that can change by the minute, I don't have any virtual hostesses lined up. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. And if it's not a great time, you can still tune in here and get the inspiration through my other projects. And I know as we get into the holiday season, people do get busier too. So yes, Shannon, the laughs are the best part. Okay, so happy Friday, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Thanks so much for joining in. Bye-bye.